Not your average tabletop. Woohoo!
Welcome back to Not Your Average Tabletop. I'm Zach.
And I'm Pepper.
And this is a bit of a different video than what we typically do.
Welcome to Stonetember.
It's finally here.
Yes.
After probably months of plugging it on various different videos. And I don't even know. We might have even plugged it on videos.
In videos that are still coming up.
Right. I would not doubt that one bit. But yes, I think we've mentioned it a few times that in celebration of Stonemeier's 10-year anniversary, 10 years of Stonemaier games, since they're kind of one of our favorite publishers of games, we wanted to celebrate with them and kind of do at least one video every day based on something with Stonemaier games, mostly kind of just their games, and then some various videos for each of those games. Mostly playthroughs, reviews, but then also some other little things thrown in there as well.
Yep. So they had 13 games at this point, so actually wasn't too tough to actually fill up all the days of the month, since there's just so much to dive into.
Right, exactly. Because you'd think, it's going to be tough to fill it, but actually, with some of the ideas we were possibly thinking of, we were like, oh boy, there's going to be too many videos. We're going to have way too many videos that we'd really like to do. But I think we got a good set of stuff that we have for sure. And also, if you have any Stonemaier themed videos, lists, or anything that you don't hear here, definitely let us know in the comments below, and maybe we can squeeze one or two of those in.
Squeeze it in there near the end of the month.
Right. So definitely let us know what you think of these. If you want more, we would happily do it. Yes. Maybe not for sure in this month, but we can come back to it too, because we definitely love discussing. You'll probably find out throughout this month we love discussing the different Stonemaier games and different things with them. So even if we weren't able to get to it this month, we'd love to probably follow up in a future month as well. Keep the celebration rolling.
Yes, for sure.
But so this is the first day of September, Stonetember. So we're just having kind of this overview of what our month is going to look like. There may be slight changes.
Card subject to change.
Yes. So, but it should be, all of this should be, I think, within a day of kind of when we have it scheduled for. So, another thing to note is we're also kind of doing all of our videos for each game kind of based in the order in which they were published, released by Stonemaier. So, kind of the Friday, the second day of Stonetember, we'll be going into Viticulture.
Yes, the first game released.
Yes.
Not ever, by Stonemaier games.
Right, and I think that day we will be doing a playthrough, and kind of, with each of them on that first day, we're going to be doing Spotlight, which just kind of says what videos we're doing on that game, and kind of maybe a little bit about our experience with the game, maybe a little extra bit depending on what games it is. So, we're going to be doing those two, and then the next day.
Then the day after that, Saturday, we have the Viticulture World expansion. We're going to be posting an unboxing of that, as well as a video kind of breaking down the expansions to Viticulture. So not only Viticulture World, but also the Tuscany expansion.
Yeah, and the expansions that we have.
The expansions that we have. Yes, there are a few more.
A few other.
Viticulture's kind of got a lot of different versions and expansions and versions of expansions. But,
I think all are kind of the essential editions, and then Viticulture World. And then on Sunday we will be doing a Viticulture Chippy review. So that's kind of when we'll be doing our thoughts of the game of Viticulture.
So kind of 3 days there to kind of a long weekend for Viticulture.
Yes. But then we'll get into the second game of Euphoria. And this will be a 2-day game, with Monday being a day that we put out a playthrough on that one, along with Tuesday being the chippy review of the game. And that's one maybe we haven't played quite as much as some of the other ones. So it's a 3-player playthrough of Euphoria. So if you find that interesting, check that one out.
And after that, we go on to Between Two Cities, which also has 2 days. And kind of the first day, this is one of our newest Stonemaier games, even though it actually is appearing pretty early in the month because it's released pretty early on.
Right.
But we just got to it, so we actually have an unboxing of that one going up. As well as the next day, we'll have a playthrough of it, a 3-player playthrough, as well as kind of our thoughts on the game as well, a video.
Yeah. And then the day after that, the Friday after that, we're going to have a video kind of discussing the secrets or kind of special things that Stonemaier Games is going to be announcing or doing in September. I think it was something that they kind of wanted to do a little earlier, but with some of the shipping stuff, it ended up being pushed back to a little bit later in the, I guess still early in the month, but I think originally Jamie said he wanted to kind of announce some of the stuff right at the end of August, so it's just a little bit delayed, about a week. So we're going to be talking about that, and possibly we're hoping with a special guest, so
we'll have to see.
Look forward to that day. Yes.
But yeah, then we're on to one that a lot of people are going to be excited about, Scythe. So Saturday, the 10th, we'll be posting, obviously, our kind of spotlight type video that we talked about at the beginning of these, and as well as a playthrough that you and Mac did of that.
Yeah, so that'll be a 2-player playthrough of it.
Yep. And then the day after that, you guys I'm not as big into Scythe, so this is heavy on you and Michaela, because you know the game a lot more than I do.
Right, we went through the Rise of Fenris campaign, whereas you were not a part of that, so you haven't played it quite as much as we have.
Yep, so we have you guys did a ranking of the factions.
Our favorite ones.
Including factions from expansions. And you also did a video where you talked about the expansions. So similar to what we're doing with Viticulture, I guess we're kind of a little teaser. We're doing that with most of the games that we have expansions to for Stonemaier. We're kind of just going through all of the expansions that we have and our thoughts on pretty much if you should add them or our recommendations.
So yeah, that'll have, I think the ones we have are the Rise of Fenris, the Invaders from Afar, and the now I'm blanking on the name. The one with the airships. So kind of the big 3.
I was thinking Winds of Galecrest, but that's Libertalia.
Wind Gambit, I think.
Wind Gambit. Yep.
You got me on the right track.
It's Wind and G.
Right.
But yeah, then we're rounding that off on Monday the 12th with a Chippy review for Scythe. Which Chippy, if you don't know what that is, that's just our kind of a little system that we have of reviewing games.
Right. Yep. So yeah,
if we say Chippy and you're like, a Chippy?
Right.
That's what that is.
Yeah. It's just If you watch them, you'll kind of find out what that is. But yeah, so then the next day, it's kind of just a one-day one. It's Charterstone, and that'll be just a Chippy review. I believe that'll have some spoilers in it.
Yes.
So we were thinking of doing a playthrough, but we just weren't really sure if we wanted to, because it'll kind of spoil some things, I think. Because we went through all of the Charterstone campaign, so now it's kind of what the end product looks like. So maybe if you'd really like to see that, we'd be willing to do a playthrough. But yeah, we did a Chippy, and that'll have some spoilers.
Yes, for sure. And I assume the Scythe, kind of talking about the expansions, might have a little spoilers too. Yep,
I think we kind of talked about the 2 smaller ones first, and then the Rise of Fenris. You can watch the first half of it, and then we say kind of when we're going to talk about the Rise of Fenris, which may have some spoilers.
Speaking of Scythe, we are now on to My Little Scythe, which is also just a one-day thing here. We'll have a playthrough as well as our Chippy review for that.
Yeah, that's another one. We probably haven't played as much. It's kind of probably amongst that one, Euphoria, and Between Two Cities.
I think it's the only one here that we do not actually own.
That's true.
It's not our copy of the game, but do have access to it to play.
Yeah, so... that gets us to the Between Two Castles of Mad King Ludwig. And this one's a little different because we already actually have some content on this one. So we should have written down what we have. I think probably a rules overview.
Yeah, kind of a rules quick bite. We don't
Yes.
really do those anymore, but
Mhm.
kind of a quick overview of the game, a rules explanation, and you and Mac did a 2-player playthrough as well as a chippy review. So we'll be providing links to those videos, so you can check those out. But new videos here, we have our favorite tiles in the game, based on either the artwork or the name of it or the effect of the tile. Pretty much anything. So we each kind of
Built
got
our own
10 tiles and built our own perfect castle.
Right.
Then also we do have a video coming for talking about the Secrets and Soirees expansion and our thoughts on that.
Yeah. So also if you'd as another one we could probably do another video on, because we did do just a 2-player version, and I think with the Secrets and Soirees they kind of changed how you can do that a little bit, and also added a solo variant. But also we could actually play it where we didn't have, because in that one we kind of had a third Ludwig character, so kind of played it that way. If you really are excited to see some more on that, we could play with 3 or more players too. We could kind of show you what that one looks like. So let us know if that would be something you'd be interested in.
Yep, and then we are on to another big one, Wingspan.
Yes. I think I think they were already on the map with Viticulture and Scythe, probably, for sure. I think the other ones were hits too, successful. But I think Wingspan is what really got Stonemaier just that extra next step.
Yes, I mean, it was Scythe, like you said, already huge in Viticulture, and just, they could never top that. And then they released Wingspan, and it's like the biggest game ever.
Right. Right. Especially with that theme. I mean, like the Scythe theme seems like a game theme that a lot of people would be into, or kind of similar to themes that had been used a lot. Wingspan is a brand new territory. Like, now there's been quite a few kind of forest animal type games, but I think before Wingspan came out there really weren't that many of those.
Not as much, definitely. But we're starting off, so we're to the 16th currently in this schedule, Friday. And that we're going to be starting off with a playthrough of that, just you and me playthrough. And the Saturday after that, we have going to be giving our favorite birds, our favorite cards in the game. So if you're interested in that, just to see, or if you have your favorite bird card from the game, definitely be sure to comment below in that. We also are going through those expansions, the European expansion as well as the Oceania, and our thoughts on that. That'll be all 3 of us. And then we will top it off with a chippy review. Yes,
and that'll be one to check out.
Yes.
For sure. But then we get into another top game. I don't know if it's kind of a little bit of one that's got people on both sides.
The most hyped before it was released of all these games.
Right. Because I think everyone likes the idea of a Civilization game, and I haven't really played many that people would say would be Civilization games, but I know there's people that say it's not. But it's definitely a Civilization-themed game.
Yes.
Once you get to our chippy review, you might learn our thoughts. Otherwise, if you want a little bit of a spoiler, you could go check out our top 50 games of all time, top 10 list, and you might find it there on a few lists. And there's 3 people talking in that list, so you have to find that out for yourself. So the first day we're going to be having, like you said, that spotlight, kind of like we do with all of them, and a playthrough of it, and then the expansions to Tapestry, so the Plans and Ploys expansion, plus the Arts and Architecture expansion. So we'll be talking about both of those. And then the next day after that, we're going to rank all these civilizations to see which ones jointly we we rank those.
Yes.
And then the next day after that, we'll have the chippy review. So 4 days of content on Tapestry.
One of our favorites. For sure. After that, we gave 1 day only. Tapestry's kind of hogging this whole week.
It is hogging the week. And almost a good chunk of the whole month.
Yes. Then we go on to Pendulum, which is a very different type of game, kind of real-time
Cookie, are you
game.
getting upset about it?
She's very upset.
She wants Pendulum to have another day.
She's like, that's not fair, Daddy. 4 whole days. But yeah, then we'll have a playthrough and a chippy for Pendulum, which is, if you want something a little crazier with the real-time aspect for that playthrough, check that out.
Right. Because, I think there's a lot of these playthroughs that we definitely could have made mistakes. I don't know that we played games enough to be like, oh, we for sure got everything right, but that is one that I think is very easy to unintentionally make mistakes.
Yes,
because it's very chaotic. So check that one out if you want.
And after that, we're following up with another one that we already have content for, and that is Red Rising. So, kind of like Between Two Castles, we already have a playthrough and chippy review of this. I believe we probably also have the rules recipe as well. So you can check those out if you're interested. But the only new content we currently have for this are our favorite cards from the game, our favorite characters. So we'll each be giving kind of our top 10 there. But like we said with Between Two Castles, if you're really interested in another playthrough possibly, or even maybe an updated chippy review, since that was kind of a first impressions, because that was like right after we received the game. Right. So if you want a little update on that, and you weren't featured in that chippy, so if you want to hear his thoughts, comment below and we can definitely put that together.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, so we're getting a little more, we're getting closer to kind of the most recent releases.
It feels like, it's kind of weird, like, right before, Wingspan just feels like, okay, now it's new games. And the other ones feel like, just like, kind of old, classic Stonemaier. And then once Wingspan comes out, it's like, this is all, like, just like last couple years. It just feels way different.
That's true. It does feel like these are just, within the last year or two. But yeah, it's been longer than that, but it feels like it has not been. But yeah, then we get into Rolling Realms, which kind of is a little bit different. I don't think Jamie's initial intention with it was to make it a published game. But it actually features kind of all their games. So it's kind of a way to look at all the games, kind of like we're going to be doing this month. So yeah, with that first day, we're going to be doing that spotlight and a playthrough of Rolling Realms. And then the day after that, the Monday, we will be kind of ranking all the different realms that we have, kind of based on whatever our preferences are. If maybe we'll base it on if we think it most closely matches with the games that it's trying to present. And then we'll also be doing our chippy review on that.
Then after that, we go on to Libertalia, which is the newest game at this point. And that is also kind of a reprint of an older game, also Libertalia, from Paulo Mori. So we got a reprint
Libertalia,
here.
Winds of Gale.
Yes, that is the Stonemaier version. Right. But yeah, we'll be starting off with a playthrough of that, and feel like that's another kind of, can be a little chaotic game. So definitely fun to watch. And then following that up the next day with our favorite cards in the game. Right. As well as a chippy review.
So yeah, you'll want to check those out for sure. But yeah, then the next day it's gonna be a little bit different.
So yeah,
So
we kind of covered all of the individual games. So then the last couple days there, we're just kind of wrapping up and giving kind of maybe final thoughts for some of these things. And one of those ways will be me taking a look at the solo modes for all of the games that we have solo modes for. I think is it Euphoria has an expansion that features a solo mode, but we do not have that Ignorance is Bliss expansion, so that will not be included, as well as Between Two Cities, I believe, does not have a solo mode, but Between Two Castles, the expansion did introduce one.
And maybe I don't remember if there is a Between Two Cities expansion which we don't have either. That might add a solo, but I'm not sure.
It might. But yeah, so that should be 11 games there. Just kind of going through my thoughts on the different solo modes and maybe my favorites.
Right. So yeah, and then the final day we'll kind of be doing just an overall ranking of all the Stonemaier games and kind of how we end up ranking them out.
Yes. The kind of grand finale.
Yes, bringing it all together. And like I said, if you did go back and check out our top 50 of all time, you could probably figure out some of them.
Placements.
But yeah.
But I will say that as we played these more, there were some that surprised me and actually, like you talked about top 50, could have possibly made my top 50 where they wouldn't have previous those plays.
Nice. Yeah, and I think, too, with some more plays of some of these, my thoughts have changed a little bit, mostly for the positive. So I think it's going to be a little bit hard. I initially had kind of what I thought it would be, but I think it might be a little harder to rank them than I had originally thought.
Yeah, same.
So yeah, that's kind of what our plans are currently. So like I said, there may be minor adjustments by maybe a day or two. But yeah, that's our hopes of all those. We may also add some additional smaller things in there if we come up with anything as we go along, or if anything's suggested that we can kind of put together in the month. We'd be happy to do that as well.
A little old 24-hour marathon. Play all the games.
Oh boy.
Might be too big of an ask.
Yes. If our September weekends weren't as busy as it's going to be, I would think about it. I'd consider doing it maybe. But yeah, maybe over September we'll try to play all of them once.
Yeah.
Do that again. So kind of get another play of them all in, and maybe we'll do if we do that, maybe we'll do a recap on one of the last days of September on that too. So. Yeah, that's our plans. Definitely, we hope you subscribe and follow along, especially if you're fans of Stonemaier games. I think it should be some pretty good content on it. So, yeah, otherwise we hope to see you on those videos, and as always, don't forget to
keep on nibbling
on our content.